that was nervous to share certain sides of me because back then was definitely before the big red hair, the eyeliner, the painted nails, the this, the that, really diving into more of the things that interested me. And some of the art that I enjoyed, like I kept it sheltered back then. I just partnered with Stellar for Elevated Wellness, a podcast that we're going to be starting to talk about mental health within the entertainment industry. How do you overcome? How do you manage? How do you deal with, go through the day to day? What is the toll of being this individual who is, constantly the center of attention? Sometimes you can feel a sense of imposter syndrome. Like, is all about, can I restart? Am I able to restart by any chance? Is this all live?
Go ahead,
Okay.
man.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because I lost my train of thought. Hopefully none of this stays. If it does, it is what it is. So I'm
Radio
gonna
is not
try
that
again.
easy. Radio is not that easy. You
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
easy.
yeah, yeah. So you would search KNoWTe, KNoWTE, on all DSPs, wherever you get music, literally everywhere. But literally wherever you get music, just search KNoWTe, KNoWTE.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to it. This is Cap City Digital. Of course, my name is this woman, aka Godson came so really fresh. This is Tammy M.
012, tell me in.
There we go. So, welcome to Cap City Digital. As always, we bring the finest and hottest artists from all over the globe, So, you'll see a lot of people from the US, a lot of people from SA, a lot of people from the UK, because we bring the finest talents. And today we have somebody who really interesting person and who makes really interesting music. We're gonna get deep with this because, man, you might just look at him, but then his brain, the brain,
The
the
creativity,
creativity, the knowledge behind what he's actually pushing. We'll get into that. But ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Note, spelled
Yo.
a different way. Note, welcome to Cap City Digital.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the intro. And yeah, the name is definitely spelled a little interesting.
Yeah.
Came from I've had it for some time now. I've been doing this like almost like uh I started Note like 10 years ago, but I really started pursue it as a career maybe like 4, 5 years ago. And yeah, the name just sort of came from wanting to make sure I stood out in like the public, and I always like plays on words, so I wanted to spell it like note, like notes of music, but at the
Yeah.
same time of like knowing, like to know something, so it's like finding yourself through
Yeah.
music.
Oh
That's pretty cool.
no.
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And you
understand.
mentioned, you mentioned, 10 years back, and
Yes.
can you please take us like to this moment 10 years back? Who was Note then, and what exactly were you doing? How were you, how did you get to where you are right now?
Yeah, that's an amazing question. Like most people, I think in general, you grow, evolve, and change. So 10 years ago, I was, 18, freshly out of high school, trying to find yourself in this world, right? To figure out, okay, how do I want to create my impact, my legacy, my story? And for me, that was through music, but I would think that definitely at that time, I was still in a place of personal self discovery. There was definitely a huge part of me that was nervous to share certain sides of me because back then was definitely before the big red hair, the eyeliner, the painted nails, the this, the that, really diving into more of the things that interested me. Um, and some of the art that I enjoyed, like I kept it sheltered back then. As I grew and evolved as an artist over the years, hopping on shows and all that sort of stuff, I met this one person by the name of NWO Sparrow. who I met at like a music conference or something. And he saw me perform and he looked at me and he was like, why are you trying to perform so like this like hip hop artist? Like, why are you trying to be a hip hop artist? You are a rock artist. You are somebody who brings a little bit more edge and grit to it. Like, let it out. Let it go. So after that conversation with him is when I definitely transitioned myself to being more bold with how I choose to express. And since then, it's been wonderful. I've been really marrying the two sides of my artistry because I love hip hop, but I also love the performance style of certain rock bands. Like I grew up like Linkin Park was definitely a huge influence. Rage Against the Machine, absolutely amazing. Then in high school, I was listening to a ton of like alt bands, Pierce the Veil, All Time Low, Day to Remember, all this sort of stuff. And I was just obsessed with their performance style. So it's been a journey from very early upbringings to like, being this individual who's unapologetic both on and off stage.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, you mentioned the likes of Linkin Park, and
Mm.
I get Evanescence as well. These are acts who are alternative and rock, but the hip hop edge is still
Yes.
there. It's
Yes.
still hard.
Exactly.
Um, so take me back just a little bit.
Mhm. Mhm.
To when you were just starting.
Mhm.
Is there somebody who might have introduced you to music, or is there someone that you heard and you
Mhm.
wanted to replicate? What
Mhm.
was that? Who was the person?
Yeah, for me, it was my dad. He pursued music when he was in his early 20s as well. And he pursued it under the name PhD. At that time, it stood for Poetry Highly Dangerous. So he was also big on making sure the name had layers to it and stuff. So I guess that's kind of where I get it. But he had to make a choice, he had to make a sacrifice. And his sacrifice was choosing between pursuing music and a music career that has a lot of ups and downs and inconsistent income, right? Or or supporting a family. And he ended up choosing to have to put music aside so he could support a family. But he always kept his music equipment with him. So I was around his studio equipment quite a lot growing up. And then around that 16 years of age, when I was looking for something to express myself, to again put my mark in this world, music was that calling. There was this band by the name of 21 Pilots that was a
Yeah.
huge influence of mine. Growing up, Tyler Joseph, one of my favorite all-time artists in general, seeing how much impact he had on the world and how much impact he had on myself, it made me go, okay, I want to pursue this as a career. So it was definitely like my dad was that seed that had that interest embedded in me as I grew up. But it was definitely finding myself through 21 Pilots that made me go, okay, this is definitely something I want to do as a career.
That's dope. That's dope. And I mean, as you are busy finding yourself, there's one thing that I'm noticing, with artists, they never
Mm,
really take the appearance serious,
mm,
and honestly, the difference between newcomer artists and
mm,
professionals is that
mm.
professionals they keep the professional thing. It becomes them,
You're correct.
and I see quite bold, the red hair. Oh, tell me more about the style that you
Mhm.
chose to go with.
Yeah, for me, it was something I was always interested in. I was always interested in, someday like dyeing my hair. Um, Painting my nails was never something I was 100% like interested in like growing up. There's always like certain stigmas and stuff like that. But as I got older, I don't know. I enjoyed the aspect of expressing myself exactly how I enjoyed expressing myself. The best way I can put it is like if you've ever played a video game and you can create your own character. Like, why do I spend so much time creating somebody so cool there when I could like make myself look the way I want to look, right? That this is my real life avatar, right? But red has always been my favorite color. You know, grew up watching Spider-Man. So like red was always like my favorite color. And for me, the choice to say, okay, I'm gonna do red hair came from the fact for me, red represents passion. And I'm very passionate about what I do, passion and intensity. And if you see my performances, they're very passionate and extremely intense. So it kind of just worked out all together.
I'm just curious to find out, when you talk about performances, do you play any instruments?
I do not. So I'm the lead vocalist. I did start music with actually a keyboard that's right next to me. So I started out doing that for a while. Over time, I learned my strength was more so in writing songs, like the lyrics of songs, and working with other instrumentalists to produce records. I noticed that those were my two strengths, being the actual person who plays the instrument is something I want to do, but it wasn't something that I dedicated my time in early in my career, but something I'm going to be picking up this year and moving forward.
I'm also curious to know, what's your writing process like? How do you get in the zone? What what must be in the setting, in the
The
background?
atmosphere, yeah.
What must the atmosphere be like?
Definitely a lot of red. No, no,
It's nice ambient lighting.
all seriousness, it's just for me, I write from a very real place. So oftentimes what I'll do is I'll just be like sitting on like the train or something, and I will just get in a puff of like inspiration, and I'll just start writing down just very basic ideas. So I'll put in my notes like very high level things of what I want to talk about. I'll get like a certain chorus line stuck in my head or whatever. So it starts usually with one line. From there, either I will search on YouTube, like, okay, instrumentals that fit this vibe that I'm thinking of. Or I'll bring it to my bandmates, because now I have band members, and I'll say, hey, I want to build a song that kind of feels like this. And then we start building from there. And then from the instrumental, as well as the very high level emotions that I end up writing, I am able to flesh it out. I really try to place myself in the emotion, because for me, again, I have to write from a very real place. I write for people who feel as though they may not have had all the words to express, themselves in that moment, but they can go to my music and feel at home with it. Because when I grew up, I definitely didn't have that. I didn't have the words to express myself. So music was that escape. So I write my lyrics with that in mind to hit a chord of emotion that could resonate with multiple people.
All right, that's pretty cool. That sounds great.
Yeah.
In regards to your band, how many are you in the band, and what's the name of your band?
Yeah, so I have a bassist. His name is Pando, and then a guitarist that goes by the name Pink Yellow Black, and then my drummer, which is like the core of the whole thing. His name is Ray, and um, I am technically a solo artist with a backing band, but they've been so consistent and ride or die with me that it's starting to evolve into something where it's like, oh, we are like a whole band now. Like it's not just me and y'all just playing my songs. Like we're writing
Yes.
stuff together, where we're gonna be, going on small tours together, doing festivals together. So like it's cool for me to say like this idea that started in like a basement when I was 18 turned into like, okay, now there's people who are just as inspired and motivated to build the things I want to talk about. So the band name, we don't really have a full band name. Maybe we can call it like Note and the Notes or whatever. No, I'm just playing. But you know, right now there's not a band name. It's just titled Note.
And sticking to the band,
Mhm.
because a lot of people, they are artists, but then, they constantly ask themselves, how does the band come together? How did your band come together? Who
Uh,
who who did you find first? How did you find them?
yeah, no. For me, it was I have a label mate by the name of Mig 718. We did a lot of shows together, and he had a not had he has a brother. His brother is Pink, Yellow, Black, and he plays guitar. So when I started, you know, performing with a band, uh, Pinky was hopping on my sets, right? A lot of the times. But then I ended up getting to a place where I needed like my own drummer because I was borrowing Miggs's drummer for a long time. And I ended up going onto a Facebook group saying, hey, I make this kind of music, looking for a drummer who's interested. And Ray happened to take the bait. From there, we've been kind of, just locked in. I'm incredibly excited for this new music we have coming up with him. We've been in the studio a lot, sending files back and forth, rewriting, reworking, revising, just like working hard to make sure that these next set of songs are really, really, really dope. And we ended up doing a show, me, Pinky, and Ray, and that's when I met my bassist. My bassist was in the audience at the time and loved our performance style. So from there, he was like, "Do you need a bassist?" And I was like, "I could use one." So he ended up hopping in from there. So it's just been like an overall, just each step of life, just a journey of okay, people coming in and coming out, and now we have a core.
That's
That's pretty
really
cool.
dope. Yeah.
And what's the rock scene like? There in New Jersey. I want to know, like, what's hot in the streets. What are the shows like? Because I don't know. I don't follow like rock music,
Yeah,
but
yeah, rock.
Yeah,
obviously when something is trending, when something is popping, you
Yeah.
kind of get drawn to it. So I want to know
exactly.
what scene is like right now there. Like, is it still got like a huge following and is like a huge community of you know
Yeah,
those
yeah,
rock?
no, there definitely is. It's growing. I within the past couple years, there's been a trend where alternative music has starting to come more and more into the forefront. And just like most things, like every decade or so, like new music, right, comes back around, but it's really like inspired by something from like the 80s or 70s or 90s, right? And right now, within the past like 6 years or so, there's been a resurgence of people who reminisce about those times in the 90s where um, all these different like type of like new metal bands were around and all that sort of thing. So it's lively. It's very community driven. They're very well connected, and supportive of one another. And the shows, they get heavy. They get heavy. A lot of moshing. But it's a good time. It's a good place to be part of, and yeah, it's a growing scene, and I'm happy to see it come back around because back when it was popular, I was still too young to go to those shows. Now that I'm older, I can put on those shows, so it's exciting.
How many guitars have you broken?
Personally, none. But my drummer, he ended up breaking one of the snares at a show we did. So he ended up playing part of the set with a broken snare, and that was crazy. And then one of my other drummers ended up breaking a stick mid song. So like, it's the drummer that goes mad hard, and it's just awesome.
People are like, nah, nah, we're disappointed in you. Why aren't you breaking any guitars?
I should be. Just throw it into the crowd.
So before we get into your current music,
Yes.
just want to speak about the side of you,
Mhm,
that people may not know,
mhm,
because you perceive yourself as a hard
mhm,
rock, and
mhm.
but I believe you're a big softie, and and that shows itself because I initially wanted to start
Mhm.
this interview with saying, "What's up, family?" And you know what that
Yes,
means, right?
yes.
But tell us a little bit more about how you are actually uh, you know, trying to inspire people. Uh,
Mhm.
besides the music and everything, tell us about your daily videos and what you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of hit the nail on the head for sure. On stage, I'm a beast of a person, but day to day, I just I guess you put it right. I'm a big softie. I want to love, I want to support, I want to inspire. That's why I got into this whole music thing in the first place, was because it was the one place where people could really feel connected to something larger than themselves, which is the whole thing we're doing here, right? This whole human experience that we have is so that we can feel connected to something bigger. And for me, that was music. I'm not incredibly religious, but I would consider myself spiritual. And music is that definitely that best place of that higher connection for me. And I know it's that way for a lot of people. So I spent a lot of my time trying to write music, and tailoring my performances around things that could inspire, whether it's, something motivational, whether it's just
Mhm.
letting people know they're not going through it alone if they're going through a tough time. This upcoming song that I have coming out in March 6th is titled Cold. And that one was incredibly vulnerable, but I think incredibly important to let people know they're not alone. It's written from the a perspective of having a parent who's not emotionally available. And for me, that was my dad. And I know a lot of people can relate to that story. So I really try to, behind all of the chaos and the big hair, the head banging and all that sort of stuff, I want people to leave motivated and inspired to pursue whatever they want to pursue in life, as long as it isn't harmful to themselves or anyone else. I want people to feel connected, to something bigger than themselves, and have a sense of purpose and worth within themselves, which is where the worthy family came from, right? What's up, worthy family? That's where that came from, because I want everyone to walk away with a sense of worthiness, because they are.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go into your new song called, but I want to know what's your like ordinary day like? Being a rock artist, a rock star. What's your day like? When you wake up in the morning, what do you get
Yeah,
up?
yeah. For me, I'm definitely very business oriented. I'm very focused on my goals and what I want to do. So I'm definitely not one of those like rock artists of old that like wake up to like 50 women in their bed and like have to take a line real quick. Like, for me, I wake up, it's me and my wife. We recently got married in July, so it's been 6 to 7 months. And so I wake up. Thank you, thank you. I wake up, I hit the gym, keep myself in show shape. From there, it's following up on any and all messages and all that sort of stuff to try to get the next opportunity. Submitting to festivals, responding to festivals, meeting with my band to like make sure we're set for rehearsals coming up. Later in the day, it's writing songs. So I'm either always writing. Oh, you should always be writing, even if it's not in a song format, just like constantly testing. So I'm constantly writing or testing new production techniques or anything of that nature. After that, it's whatever events I'm invited to, especially here in New York. There's a lot of stuff going on. So, I could be invited anywhere from like a fashion event to one of my label mates. He's a DJ, so he does a lot of raves. So sometimes I end up going to a rave, and or I'll just go to like local shows with other bands to connect with them so that we can put on even bigger shows together. And then and then I end up coming home to rinse and repeat and get ready for the next opportunity, the next show, just to make it that much bigger and better. So I'm very although rocker, very like targeted and on what I want.
A lot of knowledge coming from you,
Thank
Um,
you.
would you ever consider starting a podcast?
Ironically enough, I I just partnered with Stellar for Elevated Wellness, a podcast that we're going to be starting in March. We're starting to film episodes this month, but the first episode should come out in March, if all goes well, where we're going to be meeting with artists similar to myself or industry professionals within the entertainment industry to talk about mental health within the entertainment industry. How do you overcome? How do you manage? How do you, deal with, go through the day to day? What is the toll of being this individual who is, constantly the center of attention? Sometimes you can feel a sense of imposter syndrome, like stuff like that, So, it's funny you bring that up because that's actually coming soon.
That's
It's
dope.
exciting. So,
That's dope.
you just mentioned the podcast. What else is in the calendar for you this year?
Yeah. So for me, a lot of releases. I got a new song coming out March 6th titled Cold, that I'm incredibly, incredibly excited about. So far, everyone I've previewed it to and platforms I've heard from have said it's been the best one that they've heard from me so far. So I'm incredibly excited to start the year off very, very strong. From there, I actually have my first show in Philadelphia next Friday, the day after my birthday. So it's going to be a little bit of like a birthday kind of party, which is incredibly exciting. After that, I will be performing in Manhattan, March 29th at this venue called The Rose. And then after that is I'm doing a fashion show. There's going to be like this fashion show in Jersey, and they wanted my band to come out and perform and play. So it's just a lot of performances. Hopefully should be hearing from some festivals too. So you'll probably see me on a couple festival stages, as we get closer to spring and summer. And I also submitted to some film festivals because a lot of my
Amazing.
music videos, they are very story oriented, definitely like the music videos of like the 2000s and stuff like that, when you turn on MTV in the morning and you would watch like a fully fledged like storied music video.
Yeah.
One of our music videos actually ended up winning best music video of the year at this one platform called the Wavies, and then the other for best makeup and VFX. We also ended up winning that last year. So we just been also working like the film festival circuit. So I'm also
Yeah.
going to be in there. So a lot of activity, a lot of movement, but I'm very excited.
So you seem quite busy. I'm just curious to know, what does your team look like? How many people are in this team making all this happen?
So it's myself, my manager, Mike Loco, who definitely keeps me organized and grounded. And he's definitely the heavy when I need the heavy. Because, like, as you kind of noticed, big softy over here, I guess. He can come in with the hammer when needed. So Mike Loco, my manager, and then my wife, she definitely, although yeah, unofficially part of my team, she definitely is my team. She's definitely is like my
Cool.
rock,
Yeah.
who keeps me organized. She manages the calendar, helps me follow up with things that I may have forgotten about. She's also my ear when I'm writing a song, because you end up sending it to artists. Sure, other artists like it, and other artists may pick up on what you're doing, but you're also
Yeah.
trying to reach the people who aren't artists. You're trying to reach people who are the average listeners. So she'll also listen to the new songs and give like her critiques as an average listener. But yeah, it's a lot of you know, my manager, my wife, myself, and now I can say, you know, my band, Ray specifically, has been a huge help in making sure that the new music stays churning. So as I'm out there trying to create connections for us and get us the next opportunity, he's sending me demos, you know, in the background. So when I can get in the studio, I'm already ready to go, you know?
You have to add some South African elements in there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Maybe y'all can
Now,
join.
We'll see. Okay.
Now y'all
I
got your
yeah,
own thing
yeah,
going on, and it's exciting to see, and it's
yeah.
I'm just thankful to be here.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
love to
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
I think I would love to feature on your podcast with Stella.
yeah,
You know, just
yeah.
to connect on those. I think that would be cool.
That would be
Hell
I
cool.
yeah.
think to be on the opposite side of, you know, the chairs and being
Yeah,
asked questions, because obviously we also, you know, in the
yeah.
position where we ask people a lot of
A
questions,
lot of
but
questions.
people gotta ask us some questions as well.
Yeah. No,
'Cause
no,
we
that
listen,
that would be
sometimes.
cool. We should
Yeah,
definitely get that set up where, like, you know, like you said, now I'm interviewing you. So yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
that'd be cool. That's quite exciting.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about the project that you are busy with currently. How many tracks?
So go ahead. Say that again.
How many tracks are you working on? How many are completed? How many are you still cooking?
Yeah, so this year, especially because the market sort of changed, instead of putting out like albums and singles, when you are in the upcoming phase, it's more important to put out regular singles rather than albums or EPs. So what I'm doing is I'll be releasing a song roughly every other month. Right, so that's about 6 songs this year. As like a base goal, I put up 10 fingers, 6 songs. um, it's that's roughly, you know, 6 songs, and but I'm gonna try to see if I can do more, especially if like people are looking for it. As of now, I have one song entirely completed from like mix and master stage. The other songs are either still in demo stages where they need to be, you know, professionally mixed and mastered. But pretty much every song this year is written. It's just a matter of, you know, dedicating time to get into the studio, record all of them, get them all mixed and mastered, and out the door. But right now we're starting the year with, you know, our first song, Cold, which I'm very excited about. Ended up featuring this amazing vocalist by the name of Atara. Amazing vocalist. Like when she sang that chorus, it gave me chills because I've been writing that song for over a year, and I was trying to find the right voice. And then I went to a poetry event that she was singing at, and I heard her voice, and I was like, she's amazing. Please tell me she'd want to work. And she was excited. So we're starting the year off with Cold, March 6th.
All right, that's pretty cool. You just mentioned now, you know, the collabo you made. Are there any other people that you've collaborated with, you know, in the past that you want to mention, you know, that we should
Uh,
live?
yeah, I'm trying to think down the line. People who've become family with me. Shout out to Key Story, and another amazing artist from the Bronx. Think like, you know, Missy Elliott, Lil Kim, but like with like a more modern, you know, twist and edge to it. She's absolutely phenomenal. We've collaborated a handful of times, and we actually plan to collaborate more as the year sort of progresses. You know, one of my brothers, Saint Wave, he's again another amazing artist. Think like Kid Cudi, sort of vibes. He brings that to the table, and we've done songs together in the past. You know, I'm looking forward to hopefully also collaborating, finally writing a song with my label mate, Make 718. He's the green hair to my red hair, so everyone always calls us like emo Christmas. So it's like we kind of we kind of need to do a song together. So that's definitely been set up in the works. So hopefully that should be coming sometime this year. But we've collaborated a ton on events in the past. And yeah, those are the people that most immediately come up to mind. The recording engineer for Cold, our door, Aaron from Studio 404. Without him, definitely wouldn't have been able to elevate the sound where it needed to be. So, shouts to all of them.
All right, that's pretty cool. And do you have any other, mentionable, collabos that people you like to collabo with, going forward?
Going forward, it's really whoever is just down to do it. I'm in such a creative space this year that if I feel inspired or they equally feel inspired, let's make it happen. That's definitely where I am. I used to be in a phase where like, oh, I'd want to chase that collaboration or that collaboration. I'm definitely in a phase where I'm not going to chase anyone. It is whatever opportunity comes. If we happen to be at an event and we hit it off, we write something, great. If not, I'm definitely gonna just keep the wheels turning. But if I had to say something though, if I had to have a dream collaboration, like the moment I knew I made it is if I collaborated with like these people, it would definitely be Tyler Joseph from 21 Pilots,
Okay.
Mike Shinoda from Linkin Park,
Okay.
and then NF, the artist NF, would definitely be another one. For me, that would be like, I made it. So
Yeah.
fingers crossed.
Now, we are gonna let you introduce the song, but
Yes,
before that, please let us know where do people find you, and that particular name that we spoke about, your name that we spoke
yes.
about. Please spell it for people as well, as to how do we find you on social medias, how do we find you on DSPs?
Absolutely. So you would search KNoWTe, KNoWTE, on all DSPs, wherever you get music, literally everywhere. I've even seen my mom play my song on the fridge, which was crazy. But literally wherever you get music, just search KNoWTe, KNoWTE. You could also Google me. If you search KNoWTe on Google, KNoWTE, I'm usually one of the first ones to pop up. Social media, it is KNoWTe_worthy, KNoWTE_worthy. And you could find me literally on any social media on that, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X/Twitter, whatever you want to call it, Threads, that's where you'll find me.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'll
We're
be following you too.
yeah, definitely. We're literally across the world. I mean, and we are connecting like this. So shout out to
Absolutely.
social media and shout out to all the things that you do. Shout out to your PR team as well.
Hell yeah.
Because yeah. They're getting you all over across the world. So that's worth a shout out. Yeah.
Absolutely. Big shout out to Stella from Stellar Connect for connecting us together. And hopefully this isn't the last conversation. And the next time it would be me interviewing you guys.
Yeah, let's do that.
Let's go to
Let's
that.
do that.
Yes.
Now, before we let you go,
Mm,
we normally let you introduce the song to the people, to the
mm,
audience.
mm.
And we don't do it, but we let you do it. And we let you do it in your own style, in your own radio type of style. I
Mm.
am no, it's any
Yes.
way that you'd like to do it.
Yes. Yes.
But then, are you ready to introduce the song to the people?
Absolutely. I'm just shouting out the song. Don't have to like, am I playing it or sharing it with you? How's that go?
Would you like to sing it for us?
I no, no, I'm not.
I mean,
It definitely
never.
it definitely feels better with a full band. I can hit it a cappella right now, but feels better with a full band. So yeah,
Take
I'm
it
ready.
in.
I'm ready to shout it out. Um,
3, 2, 1.
Yo, it is KNoWTe, and I am incredibly excited for the next song to come out cold on March 6th. It is all about, can I restart? Am I able to restart by any chance? Is this all live?
Go ahead,
Okay.
Arman.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because I lost my train of thought. Hopefully, none of this stays. If it does, it is what it is. So I'm
Radio
gonna
is not
try
that
again.
easy. Radio is not that easy. You see,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
yeah,
easy.
yeah, yeah. Um,
3, 2, 1.
Okay. Yo, it is KNoWTe, and I'm incredibly excited for my next song, Cold, to come out. It is an incredibly vulnerable song written from the perspective of somebody who has an emotionally unavailable parent. So if you ever have anyone in your life that's giving you the cold shoulder, left you out in the cold, any of that, this song is definitely for you. Shout it from the rooftops. It brings back Linkin Park vibes, Ivan Essence vibes. And yeah, we're going to heat it up with Cold on March 6th.
Oh, awesome.
There we go.
Your social media pages, platforms again, your name again?
Yeah, KNoWTe_worthy, KNoWTE_worthy, and literally every social media platform.
Thank you so much, No, for joining us on Cap City Digital. I am Tommy M, that's 012 Tommy M, and this is
Real Desbu, DESBU.
Thank you so much for joining us. We wish you a great day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
You
so
too.
much. Okay.
Thank you,
Have a lovely day.